Okay, initiate launch sequence. 3, 2, 1. We have ignition. Thank you very much. That's lovely. Worked exactly as. Well, hello there, humans, bees, earthlings, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and whoever you're lucky enough indeed to be doing it too. Welcome back to Channel on Bushka, and today's video is about shotguns. Shotguns. Why is it about shotguns? Well, I'm glad you asked, because I got to thinking last night after finishing off the sniper shots video I did, and good golly, Miss Molly, didn't I hit another great sniper shot today that I wish I had a hit just before I made the video, so I had have actually made the video. And you can see from this footage here, I'm having a grand old time with the Pumpy, and that's because the Pumpy got buffed, and the S12K got buffed, and the XM1014 was already a beast, but it got some minor buffs as well. And this happened a few patches ago. And in fact, the footage you're seeing here is footage that I made a video out of on shotguns. And I did all the explanations of exactly what had gone on in the patch and how things had changed and why shotguns were now so strong and all that kind of stuff. But I wasn't happy with it. It wasn't that I didn't have the numbers. It wasn't that I just wasn't happy with it. Didn't feel right. And I'm glad I waited, because the sniper rifle video last night really clarified to me that sometimes there are buffs made, and they're made for the population at large. And let's be honest, if you're watching this video, you're probably not a member of the larger part of the player base. A couple of seasons back, I remember talking to Ocho, who at the time was with Tencent and was the North American honcho for the team that dealt with the public and set up all the streams and the live rooms and everything. And the name of the, obviously this escapes me, but moving forward, sorry, Ocho. Moving forward, the thing that really got to me was he said to me, the majority of the player base never gets to crown. Like the majority of the player base never gets to crown. And it stuck with me when I thought of this last night with regard to shotguns. One of the reasons shotguns are so strong in the game right now is that the majority of the player base can't use them very well. But the problem with shotguns is not the bullet speed, it's not the killing power, it's not the spread, it's not the lack of ammunition, it's none of those things. All those things have well and truly been fixed. We've had multiple shotgun patches and shotgun buffs. I'm going to show you the problem with shotguns right now. Take a look at this. So I want to stop and just talk for a moment as I adjust my microphone about the problem with shotguns. And this is a great example of it. Let's have a look at this as we roll forward. This is a pretty standard kind of hot drop. I don't have a helmet. I've got a shotgun, nothing else. Did you see that? I want to run this through with you, and this is the big problem with shotguns. And I watch my mate Ace, and he devastates these people with shotguns, and this doesn't seem to happen to him. I'm running 165 milliseconds, and this is my real issue. And I think it's something that particularly happens if you have erratic connection. That's a square hit. I haven't taken an ounce of damage yet. And in fact, the enemy hasn't even fired his gun on my screen. And then he fires. It's 1 shot, 2 shots, 3 shots. And then I go down. Now, if we let this play through, I'm going to show you this from his perspective as well. Okay, this is how it looks to him. He's running along. I roll up. I shoot, and I don't hit him. Let's go back and have a look at where my gun was pointing when I hit him. And you're going to see that there's a big difference between where my gun is pointing, which is to the left and about 1.5 feet away from where he is, and where my gun is pointing on the screen when I'm fighting him. Here we go. Right. So obviously there's a big disconnect here, and this is the problem with shotguns. Now, if you watch that, you would see that the problem with shotguns is something that isn't related to the raw stats and mechanics of the game at all. it seems very much to be related to ping and, for lack of a better term, device. And I don't think that's something that you can fix in game. And I could be wrong, because let's be honest, the problems with shotguns before were many and varied, but warping was the biggest issue. Like you'd fire the gun, you'd fire 3 shots, and then it would just teleport you back 10 meters, and you'd be standing in the middle of nowhere out of cover and you get killed. And the same thing used to happen, like if you were running up to a door with a shotgun and you fired, you'd break the door and you'd go through it, and then it'd drag you back. So this is why the sniper rifle video I made really influenced this video here, and why I finally used all this shotgun footage that I went out and grabbed. Because the problem with shotguns is not something you can really legislate just by changing the stats in the game. The same way the problem with sniper rifles is not something that you can legislate just by changing the stats. The problem with people who are doing poorly and don't use sniper rifles is they've never done the work and they can't actually use the guns. You need to change your sensitivity for sniper rifles. As soon as you go and put your sensitivity down to, say, 8% to 10%, 8 to 10 for an 8x, and about 12 to 14 for a 6x, you'll suddenly be able to snipe. Like, it's crazy. But if you don't do that and you just leave the stock sensitivities as they are, you'll probably never be able to snipe. And this is a big thing. It's a big problem. The player base doesn't change for shotguns either. You need to have very, very spot on TPP no scope sensitivity settings to be good with shotguns. If you haven't sorted out your TPP no scope sensitivity settings, go and play TDMs. Use a shotgun like an S12K with 10 rounds in it and get the sensitivity settings to a point where they're very, very quick, as fast as you can possibly run them, right? Because if you can run them fast, then you're able to move the reticle around the screen quick enough. And that's going to also involve knowing what horizontal swipe acceleration is and whether you disable or enable horizontal swipe acceleration. Because if you disable horizontal swipe acceleration, you're going to have to really increase the sensitivity settings on your red dot and no scopes. Horizontal swipe is all about, oh God, we've gone. What about this, by the way? 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Horizontal swipe is all about when you actually move the reticle, the faster you move the thumb, the more it moves. So if you move in short, sharp bursts, it will move the reticle way further if it's enabled. If you want it to be smooth across all settings, then you disable it. I've got lots of mates who use it and who don't use it. And I prefer to run without horizontal swipe, especially for weapons like shotguns. But you have to be prepared to absolutely max up your red dot and TPP no scope sensitivity settings. The S12K right now is my favorite shotgun. The XM1014 is forever an amazing shotgun, but the S12K is 10 rounds. It has less recoil. It has, and it's just got massive stopping power. The DPS has always been a bit wild for me, but this is why you love a shotgun. This kind of situation, late game, you are playing against someone that you think is a bit dodgy, and boom, you instantly just rip them apart. That's shotguns. There is a real school of thought here that worries me, because I don't think you can fix shotguns without fixing the netcode in the game. And the team has done an amazing job. They've already fixed warping. We've got this patch where idiots are no longer going to go around and jump punch. Like, if you were using jump punch and you were pretending that it wasn't an in-game glitch and that it was all a game mechanic, you deserve to give yourself an uppercut. If you enjoy the challenge of running around without being heard, so not leaving any footsteps or any noise, then yeah, I don't know what kind of a player you are, but you're not the kind of player that I want to run with. I'm just going to put that out there. You're bad and you should feel bad. I probably got a little bit worked up about that. You're probably a nice person, and I'm sorry about that. Shotguns are in a great place. Their stopping power is immense right now. They've never been easy to handle. They've never had less recoil. They've never had higher damage. And they've never had less warping and everything else. And I sort of understand how my mate Ace Lawrence doesn't get wrecked with this stuff, but he doesn't. I also love the fact that you can have some amazing loadout variety with a shotgun. You can run an S12K in a Car 9. Oh, how about this? This was actually in the sniper rifle thing. Cleared that bloke, grabbed his Car 9 and the 8X and went on to win. And there's like shotguns. There's no other gun that's going to win me this gunfight. Watch how low I am. I get time for 2 shots. I have no health there. And you can't see it because the screen is incorrectly set. Let me just move that gently up for you. Oh my God, I'm a worry. Where's the health bar? No, that's the frame. Anyway, shotguns are good. There it is. There's the health bar. Okay, I don't know. Let's just leave it where it is. God damn it, Bushka, you're an absolute professional. One of the most professional professionals on the professional marketplace. Be a professional like me. I love making these kind of videos because I have these overwhelming thoughts about how the meta of the game should be expressed. And the devs, obviously, and remember the devs are people too. Like the devs have a real stake in this game. And when we just basically blow the game up and pretend that, you know, they are like the devs are not nefarious. They're not trying to make a bad product and they're not trying to upset us. They are just making game balance decisions that we don't always agree with. And that's fine. You're allowed to have disagreements in this world. But my opinion is that shotguns are in a great place. And I really don't think they should have been buffed too much. And I sure as hell don't think they should ever be buffed again. So if we get a shotgun patch coming up, not saying that there's anything going to happen, but if it happens, I'm going to be very upset. And I'll be coming to HQ and we'll be having a long talk over a cup of coffee and a biscuit. Thank you very much for watching. Remember to please subscribe to the channel. It would help me a lot if you would subscribe to the channel. Share the videos. Tell them the professor sent you. And as always, look after yourself and stay safe on the battlefield. Bye for now.